Well, as you know, the issue of homelessness in Australia continues to bubble along and oftentimes under the radar, under the surface. And sometimes in many communities, it's a little bit like it's an underground activity of people who are homeless, those who are living under bridges, those who are doing what is called couch surfing. Well, wouldn't it be good if there was a model or a plan or a franchise that could help deal with homelessness in your community? Well, we've discovered that there is a homeless ministry that's happening in southeast Queensland called Sheltered by Grace. And it's a bigger vision than just for the local community. In fact, it's a global vision. So let's talk about that vision today. And a special welcome to Jason and Lisa Loakes, who head up Sheltered by Grace. To you, Jason, to you, Lisa, welcome along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason, let me come to you first of all. When we're talking about homeless people, and you're dealing with those who are homeless in southeast Queensland, in the city of Logan, which is renowned for having some difficulties when it comes to socioeconomic status of some people, and homelessness is an issue. So many communities around the nation, though, homelessness is a big issue in many, many cities and towns.
Absolutely. We'll get people as far as way from WA to Cairns, Bundaberg when we had all the floods recently, Kingaroy, all the country areas where there really are no shelters. So they'll put them give them a bus ticket to local community groups, send them our way hoping we'll have a bed. We regularly turn away 15 to 25 people every day. The ones that really upset me are the crying mums.
Well, the issue of homelessness, so many people as part of church life in cities and towns all around the country would wish that they had an opportunity to be able to do something and sometimes feel quite powerless. That sort of feeling of powerlessness is something you've overcome, and you guys have put your hand to the wheel and you've said, we're going to be tackling this. How hard is it to get something started like you do?
We took 8 years to get our first shelter off the ground because we're lobbying government and talking around circles. One of my good friends in Logan took 22 years to get his shelter up and running. So it's a very slow process at the moment that we need to speed up.
When we talk about things like a global vision to be able to end homelessness, let me come to you, Lisa, because I know that you are so passionate about this. And you've come up with a model that says, well, we can do this in our community. How about we extend this into other communities and beyond our shores?
Absolutely. Homelessness impacts so many communities across the world. And the global vision for us is very much about, God called us to house the world. And we kind of ran for a while and then we got caught up with. What we've developed here in Logan is very much just the start of what we sort of envisage and what we can see happening. And it's very much a self-funding model. So it's based on, no government funding so that it can be self-perpetuating. It's basically a win-win-win. So for those people who come in homeless, there's actually, if they're able to, a transition as well. And we do partner with some other not-for-profits like Fuller Centre for Housing, which also can offer a permanent house for people at the end of the day if that's what they want. But it's about providing that supported accommodation so people can get back on their feet no matter what the exit strategy might be. So it's about the community coming together and really working together, no matter whether it's in Logan or it's, in other parts of Australia or overseas.
Now, let me ask you, Jason, because this word franchise is an interesting one, and people who understand the business of franchising recognise it's a very powerful model.
Yep.
And I don't know that I've ever heard anyone talking about homeless shelters and by way of having a franchise that you can set up. Tell me about this idea that you've got to be able to expand and bring your area of expertise into people's hands where they've not really had that expertise originally.
For a long time, myself and my wife have been self-employed in our own businesses. When God told us to house the world, I wasn't a builder, so I had to become a builder so I could figure out how to build something affordably. So 13 years ago, we built houses and mining camps out of shipping containers. So one of the world's leaders in that sort of industry that's now starting to take hold. But we soon realised that if you want to end homelessness, you actually have to produce more housing stock than homeless are being produced in any country. And you can't do that if we don't change the laws. And you can't do that if we try to do it all ourselves. So the closest way I could come to describing it to anybody else, It's a franchise model, just like McDonald's, that we can train anybody up that's got no skills. So you could just want to house homeless, but you've got no life skills, no training, no nothing. We could train them up in a short period of time and let them be on the coal front of dealing with people with high needs and succeeding with that. So, and the most important thing is that it's self-duplicating. We take the equity out of that existing shelter and we roll with that and build another shelter. So we speed the process up. So we start producing housing stock quicker than the homeless are being produced in Australia at the moment.
What you're saying is people listening to our conversation now, they recognise there's a homeless problem in their community and there is a turnkey capacity to be able to at least understand the problem and know where to go with the solution for a homeless problem in their community.
Absolutely.
Lisa, let's come to those people who are homeless. Sometimes people are just down on their luck, out of a job, thrown out of home. Other times there's significant mental health issues at work.
Absolutely.
A big variety of problems that cause homelessness.
Absolutely. And one thing I'm quite passionate about is saying this could happen to anybody. Some people seem to think that, it won't ever happen to them, and there's still that idea of NIMBYism, not in my backyard, couldn't happen to me, they're somehow lesser people. But we've seen, golf pros, businessmen, all sorts of people come through our shelter. And really it could happen to anyone, just loss of job, an injury, domestic violence obviously is a big one. And generally we tend to see a lot of middle-aged white men who've got, lack of divorce, loss of children, potentially then rely too much on recreational drugs or alcohol, and it's just a slippery slope and they find themselves nowhere to go.
So the people that come into your shelter, what sort of backgrounds are they coming from? Are they people who are down on their luck and they need somewhere to live, or are there other deeper issues that you're talking about?
There are deeper issues, and there's kind of three types of homeless people. There's those people who are just down on their luck, might find themselves in the situation and can get back on their feet quite quickly. Then we've got people who have more severe mental health or physical issues that just need supported accommodation, that will never be able to kind of sustain a tenancy, or they might have mental health issues. And those people just need somewhere, someone to say, hey, it's time to change your sheets. Hey, come and have dinner. Hey, so they'll always need some sort of supported accommodation. And then there's the third type who kind of are the more longer term, who may have found themselves homeless and may play a little bit on the system as such, and they're the type that we see quite often. Sometimes it's more difficult to transform that or the lives of those types of people, but there are ways that we want to work with governments and other communities to actually impact the lives of those types of people too.
Stay with us, because I want to ask you what success looks like when you're dealing with the homeless. Does success look like you've helped someone get back on their feet and they're all of a sudden back out and doing what they should be doing and wanted to do and are equipped to do? And then there's the other successes of helping people to retrain from dysfunctionality into someone who is now capable of having a go on their own. Our guests, Jason and Lisa Loakes, they lead the Sheltered by Grace ministry to homeless people in Logan in Queensland. The interesting and exciting thing is that they have a global vision. And there are some franchises that they have got set up so that you can get a homeless shelter started in your community. We'll continue our conversation in just a short while.